man, you start. Start. Right, did I feel powerful this year? Keep time. Stay humble still. All right. The cameraman ready? You ready?
Good to go.
Oh, nice. Now how the man with the stick with the orchestra, how you feel? Yeah, all right. All right. All right. So ready to roll for the camera now? So before we roll for the camera, first I'd like us to do one thing first, just to get ourselves on the level. All right. First, I'd like to say, give thanks to the Most High for all of you being here now. Give thanks for all of you being here now, as different aspects of the Most High right now. Sure. So give thanks that you all reach in good health, good liberty, and it's my belief that our life is unfolding, and even though we might think about certain things and think, yeah, I'm doing this, and everything has an order, and the people who are meant to be here are here. Yeah? First of all, I'd like to give thanks to the Most High, the Almighty. I give thanks to the different aspects of the Almighty, the ether, the air, the earth. What else? Water. What else?
Sun.
Sun. There we go. Right, so starting with the elements. So first of all, I'd like for us to anoint ourselves. How are we going to anoint ourselves? We're just going to energize ourselves. Some of you, enough of you probably familiar with this. So if you could just all stand up, please. And if we can just put our hands in front of us, like a fist. One fist up and one fist down, whichever feels more comfortable. And we just open, close. Just breathe naturally with it. Yeah. One hand facing the heavens, one the earth. So we'll pump it now. Our heart pumps the blood and also the electromagnetism, and that's what we're doing. Our hands will represent the heart. And when you're ready, switch the other way. Open and close. Open and close. Open and close. All right. And when you finish, put your hands up, fist like so, here like so. And then when you're ready, open your arms and just feel the energy between the palms of your hands. Feel it? Go in and out. Can you feel, anyone feel it? Mm-hmm. All right. Energy is real. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we don't need no pastor anybody for to anoint us. We can anoint ourselves. So what we're going to do, pass it over our crowns. Overhead. Right over. Right down. And then we go down, clasp our hands together. And you feel kind of funny. That's the energy. When you feel funny, that means you're alive. It's good, it's all good, it's all good. Okay. So after that, for two reasons. One, that will break the energy. And two, because you all deserve it, give yourself a clap. Right. So can we all sit down now? All right. Okay. Okay, are you ready to lick some drum again? Are you ready to lick some drum again?
Yes!
Okay. Like one person life in here. But yes, okay. All right. Ready? Who's going to first with the 2 beat? 2 beat. All right. 3 beat. Yeah. Whoa, that's so nice. All right. So I think what I'll do is I'll do a little poem to start things off. Ooh. I feel like this means nothing. I go on now. All right. So ready with the drum? 1, 2, 3. Why look back on pain and disaster? In this land of love, joy and laughter. Remember what one does now creates and makes the future and becomes the past after. I used to watch Monkey Magic Exit and the tall monk and I want to be talker. I like to penetrate the pre-packet plus page powder, one of them evangelical priest or pastor. The type of income I like to master. My life's gone, but it seems short as if my life's passing faster. Coming like if you move too slow, opportunity can just come past. But the trick is it's all about the timing. Syncopating, synchronizing like this rhyming. I type of percussive signpost refining, but you might say deep thing, long thing, I'm not time for them thing. But you're only ready for some £1 shop Taiwan made in Hong Kong. Cheapest becomes dearest. Patience is a good thing. Family forgiveness is a good thing. Fun, freedom is a good thing. Top, hold on. Go and go do your thing. Go and go do your thing. Stop, hold on. Go and go do your thing. All right. Really, really good. That's really good. What's the next line? It's your time to do it. He's it, she's it, now who's it? Where's Meloline? Move him a top lip. Feel you fine in time, not too quick, not too slow, just right, that's slick. Pop a lolly upon a mic with no deficit. Stoop low under the pressure because you're under it. Bubble up to the top because you're over it. Now apply the pressure because you're it. I do me, you do you, while we make it fit. No pressure, no need to force it. Pick another, but before that you divorce it. Don't make it squeeze you too tight like a corset. Work hard, have fun, feel free, that's it, move it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yes.
All right. Give it, give it, give it. feel right, I can get off. I make the people them do them too. All right, ready? Okay. So first of all, we have. I wonder if a man would like to do his poem. Would you like to do your poem? You ready to do a poem? All right. Now here is the man himself. I would say this man is I've known this man for a long time, but those of you that might know him, I think so this man is a very, very humble man, family man, but boy, you don't know him till you know him. And when you know him, you still don't know him. People know what I'm talking about. So if you can put your hands together for Galactic Clyde, please.
Greetings. Give thanks. The beat that we just played there, I had a dream in the week, and that was the beat. And I wrote it down in terms of strokes so that we can play it, and so we practiced it today, the beat. It's interesting because this is how a lot of our messages come through. They come to our dreams. A lot of them start, movie writers, scientists, that's how they get their stuff. Understand? We tune in, because we can tune in. Yeah? Okay. What was once the spiritual science of the wise men has now become the religions of fools. They worship and don't know what and who they're worshipping, following them that build their guns and bombs and worship. But just like a river that is pure at the spring and has come contaminated downstream, so the truth has been. So a book given to you by an enemy could never set your souls free. When taken from you in its first place, and all this mystic science they have erased, now replaced by words to enslave you and tricks designed to keep you blind. No wonder we are caught up in mysterious crime. Get up, you mighty race. Let's take our rightful place. With their chemicalized food, keeping you in the wrong mood, shutting down your system and making you a victim of their system. But this day I say that the righteous judge resides within, can heal us, can heal you, can heal all of us from any corruptible thing. So go within. Read the book of thyself with their spiritual food on the inner shelf. Black man, black woman, know thyself, for within you lies the mystery to change this wicked system.
Give thanks for that, give thanks. Right, Ashe. Right. Now Sister Cleo. Sister Cleo is she's been putting this piece together all night. Pottering, you know, as you put over the computer and you're hustling, you're bustling, and you think, yeah. And lo and behold, my girl has to freestyle because she forgot something today. Well, you know how spirit works already. It's all perfect. So if you can give Cleo.
Greetings. Who wants to be happy and free? Me. Some of you, not everybody. Okay. Just to go back to something that Clyde said earlier about what happens and how things work. We had a class with a master class with Clyde this morning, and as you know, I've forgotten what I prepared, so I am freestyling. But during the class, he talked to us about the drum beat he was just mentioned to you, and he said it adds up to 19. And straight away I went, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I was at a funeral on Thursday, and the numbers that were on, you know, on the pulpit they have the numbers for the hymns. The first number was 19, and I went just now and going into my bag like a madwoman because I was going to use these numbers to put on the lottery, and I've forgotten. So look out and see if the number 19's there this evening. But that aside, so yeah, I've lost my millions now. Got the message and I ignored it. We get messages all the time and we ignore them. So what I want to say is, I flow like the river, I sing through the breeze. My element is water. And of course, I love the sea. And I'm telling you that because you probably worked out what zodiac sign I am from that. If you haven't, don't worry. Like I said, my name's Cleopatra Dixon. I've been a mum, a working mum full-time for the last 30 years and a wife. And last year, September, I said, you know what? I've had enough of this 9 till 5, 9 till 5, not doing anything for myself, not having time for myself. And I decided to take a year sabbatical from work. And that year sabbatical, I was supposed to be travelling around Africa. I flew down to Zimbabwe, and by myself I travelled from Zimbabwe to Tanzania, through Tanzania up to Kenya, and from Kenya into Uganda. I spent 2 beautiful months in Africa with families I did not know, with people I did not know. I had to lie to my daughter. I've got 4 children. My eldest daughter is a European champion in that Sinting card. Muay Thai boxing, where she uses everything for bucks up people in the ring. She's a European champion. And every time I was going somewhere, she said, Mum, where are you going? Where are you going? And I say, I don't know where I'm going. I'm following my spirit. And truthfully, I followed my spirit throughout that 2 months of that journey. It was the most beautiful, liberating journey for me. But just to go back to these, what we're here for, the sacred geometry, one of the things I was doing in the evenings in Africa, when I wasn't swimming in Lake Victoria, and I have to rub that in for my friends that know me. Every weekend I was swimming in the sea in Lake Victoria, which was an amazing experience. I met up with a couple that own an island in Lake Victoria, a black couple who were in England, and they went to Uganda. They set up their own radio station, and they're living life. And I was meant to be travelling through Africa and coming up to Ghana before I flew back home for my year's travels. But while I was there, something just opened up in me, and I said, you know what, I'm not going back to England to do that 9 till 5 anymore. There's no way I can do it. It just kills our spirit. And I thought, you know what, you need to get back to Jamaica. So in the next couple of months, I'll be in Jamaica. So I'm following my spirit. But the other thing I wanted to say was, while I was in Africa, my eyes, I'm getting old, my eyes are getting bad, I can't read under the dim light. And I'm not saying, you know, the light in Africa is dim. But you know when you're inside, even in England, you're reading with this kind of light, your eyes don't like it. So what I was doing, I got myself a geometry set. And I just don't know why I bought myself a geometry set. And I don't know if the ones that are around my age, you probably remember the spirograph. And we used to do those circles, and we used to intersect at the intersecting lines and then do another circle. And believe it or not, that's what I was doing in Africa in the evenings when I was bored. You know, some people would come and take me out, you know. But most times I'm there doing these drawings. I did not know why I was doing them. But it gave me such great pleasure, such great, and it almost took me back to my childhood. Anyway, I continued drawing the drawings, cut my journey short because I said, you know what, the money you still have to go around Africa for the rest of this year, get yourself back home, start out your business, and go to Jamaica and do what you want to do. So that's why I'm here. The week after I landed, one of my sisters phoned me. She said, Cleo, do you want to do a sacred geometry course? I went, what's that? And she said to me, Cleo, just come along and see, man. Sacred geometry with astrology. I've always been interested in astrology, always. And something just said to me, well, you know, little shekels, got to pay for it. It's better than sitting indoors reading a book or trying to find something decent to watch on the television. So anyway, I come to the course. And was I shocked when I started to see these things. And then I realised how it was all relating to the things that I was drawing in Africa. So guys, all I'm saying to you is follow your spirits. We get the messages all the time, we ignore them, we butter up ourselves when we don't do it because we know we should have done it. But take a leap of faith, do it. That's all I've got to say. Thank you.
Yeah, I just remember one of those tunes. I don't know if you remember that tune, the old time tune. Life is one big road with lots of signs, signs and more signs. You got to make up your mind to face reality all the time. Whoa, boy, that one there. Serious. Okay, so everybody feel all right?
Yes.
Oh, she's lovely. Started. Okay, so one thing I've got to say myself, for my coming into contact with this gentleman here. I'm a man that, when I'm in my yard, I put her about and I'm like a scientist, I'm like a board, and start write up things, and it's like I really start analysing things in life and thinking, how is this connected? Why do I stay like this? Why do I stay like that? But it's like I get limited on why certain things happen with myself and why I keep on doing this. Why no matter if I try this, I try that, I still can't do this, I still can't do that. And as soon as I went on this course here, it's like, oh, that's why I'm still so. Oh, that's why I go on like that with that person. Oh, that's why I keep on, okay. And I find out it's not about so much trying to change certain things. It's about understanding about how I am and how I interact with other people and how I interact with other things. And how I am in correlation with time as well. Because as you know, there's people, places and things. And what I realize is, you know, as they say, as above, down below, you all know. So it's like, you know, I've been working a lot, doing a lot in my own time. But it's nice to have, you know, they say when a student is ready, yeah. So I give thanks, and it happened. And did anybody know, remember the 19th? Wait, it was the 19th, wasn't it? Well, did the last year, when last year with the snow? There was a big snow, and it was
I don't know
the 18th and the 19th. There was a lot of snow, and there was a roadblock, and nobody could move nowhere. Does everybody remember that? No one could go anywhere.
December.
It was December. I remember it was the 18th and the 19th. That's when, for me, the masterclass start. And then I'm seeing the 19th there. So what I'm realizing is that it opens my eyes to the signs to let me understand that, no, I'm not going in the wrong, I'm in the right track. I'm in the right place. You know, so I think it just gives one peace of mind and overstanding to go with the understanding. You know, so on that note, I'd like to pass you on to Clyde. He's going to introduce you to these wonderful pieces here.
All right, greetings, yes. Glad to have you all around. Glad to have you all to this event. Unveiling the crown. Just a little background. I'm Galactic Clyde. That's the name I go on. Galactic because of the Mayan connection that I have. Where in the Mayan system, the numbers take on a different vibration in terms of planetary energies and frequency. So my name was Clyde, born under the name Clyde, and Galactic is another in connection to the Mayan connection in terms of research I'm doing in terms of the Mayan calendar system. So that's where the Galactic comes from. Yeah. So Galactic Clyde I go by. Yeah. Just astrology has been a very important part of my life in terms of I was living in America and I decided to take up astrology because a lot of things I was going through I didn't understand and I wanted to understand more, and so I went and did a chart, and when I got a reading I was like, wow, it clarified a lot of things that I needed to be aware of. So I started to do the course and I get into astrology and I love it, and I realized I'm always into astrology because that's what you realize when you start doing astrology. You realize that you do have a connection, even though you don't understand the planets, the sign and all of that, but then your daily life is part of the same thing because this is a science that covers all subjects. And today I intend to tie it in and show you the relationship with our ancestors and the system that we use now, sacred geometry. Now, we're talking about the crown of Basar. When I started to make this symbol, actually I didn't know what the name was. I didn't even know what I was doing in terms of how this was going to be the final thing that I was going to make. I started to make this form as this in terms of with the thing. So I started to make that, but then I realized that because of the nature of it, it could not hold up. So I had to do some other things to make it into what it is now. But when I finished making it, because I was doing this in my house. I could not believe the kind of energy that was coming off of it. I could hear the vibration, you know, the energy coming from it. I hear it, I could feel it. And so the room that I was working, at in the house, I decided to clear it and stay in that room that night, because I said I need to soak up this energy, because whatever it is, I need to just really be tuned to it, because I did not realize that this can give off that kind of vibration that was giving off it, you know, like that kind of ringing sound that you hear and feel. And your psychic ability also increasing. My missus, she had some other, some connection in that sense. People were saying, wow, you know, you're very psychic, and just the stuff that was happening around the time that would make the form. And I was trying to say, yeah, that's the connection, because it's really an antenna. Anyway, I was always into sacred geometry, making pyramids, but this form I did not make. And so that's what happened when I made that form, yeah? Because I started, you see some of the pictures that we're gonna put up. So you put up there, I think we need to put the slide, yeah? Just put up, just do yours. I get brother. We'll get the brother to put the slide up. I'll put the slide up to show you.
Sorry, Clyde, can I get a closer look at that piece there you was talking about?
Oh, this piece?
Yeah.
Oh, you can see it from there. After I started to do some research as far as what it represents and what it is actually, it boils down to it's actually a stellated, what they call it, dodecahedron, stellated, and so it represents the crown, which is the crown of, in the Kabbalistic teaching, is the crown of Keter. We know that Keter in Kabbalah is the same equivalent as Asar in Kemet. Okay? So the crown of Keter is the crown of Asar, which is the one and the same. Because remember, truth is multi-level, and so it depends on where what religion or what system, or what spiritual system, there's different names, but the principles remain the same regardless to where you go. In that sense, maybe a little bit dash here and there. You know what I mean? Like somebody makes dumpling in Trinidad, makes dumpling in Jamaica. It's different dumpling, but it's the same flour, isn't it? They are made different style of making it. So you see that when you start studying a lot of these spiritual systems, that the principles are the same regardless to, you know, the different names that we use. Okay? So, but going back to the oldest name in terms of our system, I call it the crown of Asar, because Asar and Keter is the same in terms of energy. Frequency. It's very powerful in terms of energy vibration, and so it's I find it's really spiritual antenna. One of the things about sacred geometry, can we get the yeah, you can get to put on the projector, yeah, because we're gonna start with you want to put the projector, yeah. One of the things about the form, they're connected to other dimensions. We know that we're on the earth plane, but the earth plane, there's multi-levels of the planes. Actually, in terms of what they call dimensions, there's different schools that taught us to how much dimension, but basically they're saying there's 8 dimension or 10 dimension. You see that in your research, or some people say 12 dimensions, but all the dimensions have their connection with the earth, and some of the stuff I wanted to show in terms of the PowerPoint. Yeah, the first one. One that's on the slide. Yeah, that's good. So we're looking at sacred geometry. This was a piece, a picture from.
Are we turning the lights? The lights.
Yes. Turn on the light.
Put them on.
Off.
Off, yeah. That's the piece you have in the flyer. This was a sacred geometry session in New York. Every Juneteenth, they have a celebration on the beach in remembrance of our ancestors coming to the Middle Passage. So every year we look forward to that beach ceremony, which they call Juneteenth, anywhere around the 13th or whatever, to the closest to the 13th of June in America. They'll have that celebration on the beach. And people come with the drum, the children. Some people come with the chains to reenact the whole slave thing, because that was where our ancestors come to the waterway. This was done in Coney Island in America. There should be something on the net concerning Juneteenth. But so that day that I was decided to take all of this, the pyramid and stuff that I was making, I take that out there because I had a van and all of that. And the morning of the event, there was a rainstorm. Thunder, lightning, rainstorm. So, and you know, we're going on the beach to do the event. I get a message to says, don't worry, everything's gonna be fine. But how I interpreted to tell my sister, that's my sister in the white, and the friend, Sister Myra, I interpreted, but she was coming from another direction, so she wasn't with us. But a group of us was coming from the Bronx to come to the event. And how I interpreted to them, I said, expect a miracle. And that was the word that on top there I put on. So I tell them, expect a miracle, because I got the message. Okay? And so the day when we came to the rainstorm, come to the event, it's cloudy, still drizzling, raining, and as soon as I set up the pyramid, the fog, it was cloudy, foggy, the fog started moving away, and the sun burst to the cloud at the same time. You know, I didn't see, you know, in terms of, because I was so active doing, people coming up and telling me what's going on, and, you know, they start talking about what was happening and explaining to me what their experience is, you know. And so, because we capture it by the energy still with the flyer in that sense. So sending the flyer out as for the event, you know, when you capture something, the energy still stays. So, it was very, I find that very important one to put on the flyer. What is quite interesting, I decided to use that for the flyer for this event. But when I set up the flyer, it's those who you see in the flyer with Orion, you know, that's the star system Orion with the figure over the pyramid. We have the same symbolism where you have three pyramids, you have three main individuals there, the star above, and the pyramid. I find that the synchronicity or the symbolism was almost identical in that same connection. So I know that, you know, ancestors are telling us, you know, telling me something in connection of the work that I'm doing in that sense, because this is how message comes in that sense. A lot of our message come to synchronicity, to dreams, to colors, to pictures, to numbers, to, you know, because what happens, the planet energy are beaming down on us, and we have to interpret. Because as above, so below, as within, so without. The scripture says, heaven declares the glory of the Creator, of God, and the earth showeth His handiwork. So whatever is declared down up there, it manifests down here. We just have to understand how it manifests, or will manifest. Yeah? Oh, Brother Israel, how are you?
I'm fine.
I tried calling you, man. Yes. Okay. So this is the thing. The first one. So we talk about sacred geometry here, and this is our ancient picture. This is a picture of anybody know who that is? That's the picture of Orion. So when you see this, this is our ancient astronomy system. Astrology, yeah? Because it was one system. Astronomy, astrology, one system of in ancient time, yeah? I'm talking about an African system, yeah? One system. So this is a picture that they show of Orion, see the three stars in the belt, and Orion with the Ankh at the Stargate, yeah? But this one is Aset, okay? And see Aset holding the Ankh. Aset is the star system Sirius. So how our ancestors look at things, they don't look at the stars as just stars up there, or planets as how we know it in this modern time. They look at it as, this is our ancestral, this is our connection. You understand? Because we come from that realm. Okay, so when we come down here, we are actually stars in a human form. And when you die, you actually exit and reborn into the star kingdom. You see that in the Lion King. That's taken from our system. Okay, so they look at it as, so this is a very powerful symbol, and I want to make it available for everyone, where I have a purple plate of it really, where really something that you need to be aware of what it represents for our people. And even in the world of astrology, astronomy, what they're saying, and in connection to what our ancestors is saying, is that our earth is actually regulated from the star system. Okay, that means our earth is in resonance with stars, Orion and Sirius, which is Asar and Aset. Okay, I didn't want to confuse everybody by putting out the flyers, I saw a set spiritual empowerment, because it might make it a little bit confusing since we have the Asara set society. I don't want, not that there's nothing that I have against them, but I didn't want to change the, you know what I mean, like not understanding what's happening in terms of this. So it's Asara spiritual empowerment, but it's really Asara set spiritual empowerment. Okay, so this is the picture of Asara set. Yeah? And the star system. So when we talk about resonance, which is the Vesica Pisces, yeah? Okay, it's the nature of resonance and our galactic destiny. Yeah? Yeah, okay. I don't know. Okay, sorry. It represents resonance because it shows you that one world is bleeding to the other world. And that's what we're talking about. So our world is in resonance with the heaven is in resonance with the earth. And what it is, when you use the sacred geometry form, especially 3D, you're actually making a link. They're like antennas. There's only 4 kingdoms. There's only 4 basic, all of us, as much as of here, we can divide everybody down to 4, down to the number 4 in terms of energy. Meaning you're the earth, air, fire, water, based on your solar, your sun sign. Yeah? There's nobody outside of that. Earth, air, fire, water. Everybody. Yeah? We could boil you right down to the 4 elements. And when you talk about 4 elements, you talk about the 4 main geometric solids. Okay? Which is represents earth, air, fire, water. You know, the earth is the square, and we have a square box, I think it's under there. And then you got the triangle, which is the trine, which is fire. Yeah? And you got the icosahedron, which is water. I remember when I make the icosahedron, I got a message that is connected with the scarab, which is I got a message it was connected with Kepura. And I started my research. I was like, yeah, that makes sense because it's water, Kepura. And so it comes like that. And so water, and then we have the air, which is the octahedron. So the 4 elements, so everybody, there's a shape here in connection with your energy in terms of your astrological sign. But not only that, the foods you eat are also geometric patterns. There's a book called Constructing the Universe. It shows you all the food in connection with your geometric shapes. When you cut what they call it, a cabbage, you see the spiral, which is also part of the galactic spiral vortex. Next one. Okay, so cooperation within large bodies or group, both planetary and interplanetary, understanding the importance and true nature of resonance and how it both feeds and maintains the soul while supporting the ultimate embodiments of one personal and galactic destiny. Resonance is so important because the Vesica Pisces is where all of the connection with all the geometric shape. Because when you talk about the circle, it represents spirit. Okay? Next one is the tetrahedron. Yeah, tetrahedron represents. I couldn't get the red one because it will show the thing. But tetrahedron represents the connection with fire energy. Okay, and the fire sign in general. Yeah, so fire. Yeah, tetrahedron. Tetrahedron, the ability. So you're talking about when you're dealing with the tetrahedron in form, the ability to successfully navigate the higher dimension, obtaining a map and obtaining the maps and information required to make successful venture into the unknown. Well, sister, you know, and the brother was talking about the 18th, we had a sacred geometry ceremony where we had actually a tetrahedron pyramid that you actually go inside and feel the energy of the tetrahedron. Very good to help you with your meditation, speed up your spiritual growth, connect you with a higher dimension. Very powerful. What's the difference when I make a tetrahedron into the wood, like this form, and the metal? What it is, energies in terms of science, we got the conductive energy and non-conductive. Who's an electrician in here? Energies are conductive and non-conductive, yeah? That's how we look at it. So therefore, if I take this tetrahedron and I plug it into an electric circuit or touch the hot wire, I wouldn't get shocked. Yeah? But if I take a tetrahedron, which is in a metal form, I would get shocked because it's conductive. Conductive and non-conductive and conductive energy. So when I make these shapes into conductive energy, then it actually pull in the higher dimensional frequency even more powerful and help us to really raise the vibration. You understand? So that's what the work is about. So when I made these, this is conductive energy. Yeah, this is non-conductive. Not that it's not giving off energy, it's giving off energy, but the vibration is very low because it's non-conductive. Okay, but if I take this now and I put metal all around it, then the vibration is raised because it's conductive. When it's lightning and thunder, the energy is vibrating. And we're going to do the tuning box, because you have the tuning box, so we can feel the energy. Yeah, this way. Yeah. All right, next. Okay, the square. The cube. One thing about the square, which is really represents the earth plane or the physical form where we are. This is the house that we live in. Is all in the square, the breakdown of energy. But the square, actually, the PowerPoint, actually, the colors are also important because the square will represent the earth sign Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Yeah. And so Taurus also rules its own communication. So let's go to the next one. Yeah, the aligning of those, the cube, alignment of those from one's particular family, both planetary and interplanetary. Okay, so the earth energy, family. Okay, the cross is a square. Our bodies are set up in a cross. When you fold that, you get the cube. Yeah. Okay, this is the what they call the octahedron. This is an octahedron that I made, where you could see what I put inside the octahedron is that spiral. By having the spiral in here also, because what they call it, you heard about 0 point energy? Everybody heard about 0 point energy? 0 point energy is nothing but the ether. It's just another name for the ether. Because before science says, oh, there's no such thing as the ether, where ancient people talk about the ether. Science said there's nothing because they couldn't prove it. But now they're proving it, and now they changed the name. So you will hear the word 0 point energy is the same thing as saying etheric energy. Yeah? So the ether, it travels in a spiral form. So having that like that, then it makes the etheric energy, it makes it vibrate even more. So it's empowerment. You see also, they created the vortex here with the spiral, and spiral represents change. So all that also makes the energy, you know, how you really empower yourself using sacred geometry. And that's what the octahedron represents. Take the next one. Octahedron, practical use of metaphysical principles. Metaphysical and spiritual principles. So that the earth physical plane may be elevated along with personal attraction of those who can further support one's overall development, as well as those who can also serve in like manner. We know that the pyramid in Kemet is an octahedron, because how it is, they're trying to, in research that they're doing on the pyramid, there's a strong belief based on what's happening that there is another part of the pyramid, the same how it is above ground, underground. And what they believe that it's what's happening that it's sealed off, so we can't get down there, they can't get to see what's down there. Okay? In the book called The Emerald Tablets, which I recommend everybody to read. This is our ancestral sacred writing, the Emerald Tablets, and I got some copies of books that I make available for the public that we have here today. But the Emerald Tablets state that there is a spaceship right within the pyramid. But yes, it can be there, but it's not on this dimension. Because remember, we are on a third density planet. So stuff could be there on the other density that we would not recognize. And that's why we talk about the star. I'm sure some people heard about the Dogon and the star Sirius. We're talking about the star Sirius. Well, Sirius C, because we got A, B, and C. Up to now, well, scientists, they couldn't prove Sirius C when the Dogon explained to them there's a star up there, and its name is Sirius C. Your name is, Sirius C is not the name that they call it. But I forget Potolo or one of those names. Anyway, they didn't believe that it exists because they can't see it. But as far as they understand, it exists on another time dimension. And what happens? It will come out of that dimension and come into our area and go back out. So yes, it will be visible and then becomes invisible based on timeline, based on certain changes. Just like that day and night. Sometimes, it's dark and you can't see certain things, and it's daytime you can see. So that happens in the timeline in that sense. Yeah? And it represents the element of air, and what powerful in that sense, because air is where the books and your libraries and your relationships are all connected on the air sides. Yeah? So therefore, yes, we can have information within the pyramid, which is like our museum, and that's what it is. Next. And so this was emerald. You see the emerald takes on the shape of octahedron. That's the brimstone emerald. Next. In the British Museum, Sister Chi, we was at the British Museum have one of the small icosahedron, and so the icosahedron represents water element. It rules the water sign and water element. So let's next slide. Yeah, icosa balance one energy fields, especially the first 12 layers of the etheric body and all the chakra and meridians. Key function, transformation. So that's why this energy, I've been pushing this forward so much, because that's what we need. Balance our energy fields, connecting with our chakra meridian, and stuff like that. Yeah? To create the transformation and to connect with the other realms and the ancestral forces and the creative realm. Yeah? Now, this one is the dodecahedron. You see the dodecahedron. This is not the same box as this one. It looks similar because I downloaded this from the internet. So this one that I make, and this is the pictorial. One of the things, you can use these also for meditation, because when they enter the dimensions, when you even looking at these, it also enter your brainwave and also makes a connection. But even having them in a 3 dimension is also even more higher in terms of the energy vibration. This generates the ether. So all the forms of the energy, earth, air, fire, and water, the main energy is ether. And you heard the word ether every time somebody died, because death is ether with the D. So if you take the D away, because D just represents Dilet in Hebrew, which means the doorway. So really the doorway to the etheric plane. That's the code. So when you talk about death is the ether, and that's what happens because it becomes an etheric being when you die. Your physical form belongs to the earth, dust to dust, ashes to ashes. Etheric form becomes alive and you go on. Now, where's the evidence to that? You can read a lot of the stories. Laxam Rampa counsel a man right into on his deathbed, right into the other realm. There's many stories about people passing away and they recognize what happens, that they become, death is actually a rebirth. And actually birth is death because we die into the spiritual realm. Yeah, so the ether, and so our ancestors were able to work with the etheric realm, and that's what they're able to transcend time and space, because that's what the ether helps us. Go ahead, next slide. Okay. Universal wisdom, accessing the matrix of the universal mind, so seed thought may be implanted and brought forth into manifestation. Universal wisdom, that's the key phase. So that's the etheric realm. So because in some of the stories, in some of the books I read from different spiritual disciplines or different spiritual teachers, such as Yogananda from India, when he talks about his teacher died, and they buried his teacher, and one day he was sitting at I think he was in a hotel, and his teacher came down from the descend into his etheric realm and appear right before him. Spent about 2 hours speaking to him. He asked him all kind of questions, where he is and what he was doing and blah, 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 blah. There's many stories like that, but those get put back in the back burner because we're not supposed to know that, except for some movies, Star Trek stuff, that they tell us as if it's fable or not real. But these are real. Your ancestors can stand right before you, talk to you, and vanish, because they live on. Actually, they said if we understand the nature of the other dimension or the other realm or the other worlds, we would not want to be here. We would want to commit suicide and live here. But they said, no, that's not work. That's no good. Because in the other worlds, their city is greater than what we have here. You understand? Because you travel with the thought of your mind. The other dimension. It's the 4th dimension is manifest thought. So when you enter those other dimensions, it's a different story. Anything you think about manifest. You understand? So, and when you read the emerald tablets, it's there. Our ancestors talk about other dimensions and other planes and other worlds. Yeah? And what they, when I read Lakson Rampa, one of his books, I like to talk about this one, Lakson Rampa. He says, the book is called The Hermit, by the way. And when the hermit, when one day elder went out into the other realm, he was taken into the other realm. Yeah? And he says, what they said, the other realm compared to this realm is like a smack of paint on the wall. That's like an insult to us. But really, it will be like a smack of paint on the wall when you talk about importance of another realm. That's why it's important for us to understand planetary science and the ancestral and what our ancestors have left for us. Very important because they left a lot of important telltale signs. And other people are rummaging our stuff and we need to take the initiative. Next. Yeah? The great thought. Tehuti. Yeah? Holding what? See the same symbol? That's the Merkaba. Star tetrahedron. Because that's the tetrahedron. That's the tetrahedron, that's the star tetrahedron. What's the difference? One up and one down, yeah? Yeah? Connected, yeah? This is your what they call your light body, your Merkaba body, because they said really we have a Merkaba or energy field around us which is that shape. Yeah? And when it's activated you can travel interdimension. You can travel and visit other planets. Yeah? No joke. Yeah? Next. Okay. The Merkaba is great for healing and protection and assist us in our growth, connecting us to our higher self. The Merkaba brings balance, healing, light, and power to any room in which it is hanged. It transcends time and space and dimension. Very important thing to have in your home in that sense. Yeah? Because when we talk about conductive, non-conductive, conductive energy. Yeah? Merkaba, you see Leonardo da Vinci. It's interesting we talk about 19 because in terms of the energy or the connection is 19.5 is the frequency of the what they call of the star tetrahedron or the Merkaba. Richard Hoagland, he specialized in doing research on this whole 19.5 energies everywhere around the planet with the 19.5. I think one of the states, Hawaii, I think he says had some connection with the 19.5 vibration because there's always some very important connection with the 19.5. In astrology, at 19 years old, really, it's you come up to a very important change in your life in terms of a Saturn connected with Jupiter in that sense. But the number 19 is very important because it's the number of experience. That's what it represents from 1 to 9, from beginning to end in that sense. Yeah, because it's the completion. So somebody who's a 19 experience, they need to be exposed to a lot of different things because of the vast experience. The mind really wants to connect from 1 to 9. In that sense. Next. Yeah. And another aspect of it, attuned to the Akashic record, assessing information from other realms and lifetime that is significant to our current life challenges and issues, clearing all karmic energies to the raising of the etheric, supposed to be etheric vibration, so that all accounts are automatically brought into balance. Key phrase: heal and uplift one's life. Okay? Okay, this is the pyramid that I was talking about. This is the one that we doing meditation with the sacred geometry workshop, because the sacred geometry workshops are very important because it helps us to raise our vibration and in tune with the energy. And so we did the workshop. This is some of the stuff that we had there, and so we're having a workshop coming up on the 4th and the 5th and the 5th of next month. So we're inviting you all to check it out. It's going to be right here in one of the other rooms, and so you can feel and work with the energy. But also today, we want you also to feel the energies of the different forms we have here. So we'll make a connection. Yeah? Okay, so that's it with the slides. Oh, this is some of the this was Bahamut. We did when I first came here. We were doing ancestral gathering. See the pyramid with the different forms. Working I think some of Pablo children and my children inside the pyramid. Then more. Oh yeah, I think there's another. Yeah. They sit back in the same place. This was the tree of life, and we had it on the beach. And sisters, we take some pictures of Bajra and Orisha. That's the two sisters there. Yes. And it's a little bit hazy, but if you look at it, you can see the glowing that coming from the form. It's a little bit hazy because of the camera, but the form is actually glowing. I put it on my Facebook. You even did you see the picture on the phone? Yeah, the whole background is actually glowing when you see that, and that's just taking it outside, taking a picture with a regular camera, showing that the form is actually glowing. Next one. It's another aspect of it. That's my daughter, by the way. She kind of who's computer. And she kind of actually, her name represents the glory of God. So, you know, that the form there glowing. That's the picture. Next picture. That's the slide I put on the Facebook, and it shows if you look, you can see all the glowing coming from the form. It's not coming from me, it's coming from the form. I'm just enjoying it. Yeah, it just resonates. Yeah. Next. That is a meditation. Just relax. Can you feel that? You can download it on the Facebook as well. Those of you who are on my Facebook, you can download it and throw that up on the site. Or if you need a copy of it, just say, send me a copy. I want that for my whatever. Yeah? Next one. Say another one.
Yep.
That's it?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. So are we going to have a ready?
Yeah.
Lights, please.
Lights.
Where's the-
You can keep them down if you want. We'd just like to say that was the first section. What we're going to do, we're going to go for an energy break, whether it be etheric energy or whether it be physical energy, whatever level you want. You can dabble with some of these forms, and there's some delightful food outside there in the corridor waiting for you. And there's some stools here, some lovely things over there. So if anybody wants to take a break now, please do. For the next 15 minutes, you can come back in 15 minutes. That's 4:45. Thank you.